What is up, ladies and gentlemen? This is Vault Goblin, and man, oh man, did I miss talking to you guys here on Vault. I haven't an upload in about like a week and a half, almost 2 weeks, I think. I'm not quite positive when my last upload was, or quite honestly, what the gameplay even was. But anyways, today I'm coming in with a story for you guys, but before I dive into the story, I would like to talk about the gameplay for just a few quick seconds before we dive into the, interesting little story I have for you guys today. This gameplay was dropped for you guys by Vault Auxiliary. It is a nice 206 and 10 on Meltdown with the Afterlife camo using the MSMC. It's a pretty action-packed, interesting gameplay, and towards the end of this gameplay, you guys might hear his reaction when he finally checks the scoreboard and sees that he got that gameplay. I decided to keep the audio in there for that because I laughed my ass off when I heard it, quite honestly. It was funny as hell in my opinion. So I hope you guys will enjoy that and, get a little kick out of it as much as I did in the end of the video, because definitely it is, it's funny to say the least. So check out Agility in the description below for dropping a badass 200 plus like he always does here on Vault. And now let's dive right into the story. So before I start the story real quick, I would just like to ask for 200 likes on this video because my last Vault upload I asked for 250 and we couldn't quite get there. We were so close. We hit 230. So if you guys could hit 200 likes on this video, that would be greatly appreciated. I will definitely think of a way to reward you guys for achieving that goal of 200 if we hit it. So check the comments and I'll probably leave, maybe a little incentive for you guys to hit 250 or something like that. Also, Vault opened an apparel store, so check that out in the description below. If you guys get a Vault shirt or a Vault sweatshirt, tweet at us letting us know, and we'll hit you up, we'll retweet you, talk to you, follow you, stuff like that, because supporters are the best. You guys are the best. But anyways, now I'm actually going to dive in the story. I promise I will. So this story I have for you guys today is about how a kid in my school last year got stabbed, well, almost got stabbed. This was a pretty close call here by another kid at my school, and this was completely 100% intentional. This was not like an accidental, like, oh, I almost just, threw my steak knife at your head, bro. Oh, that's okay. This was a genuine, like, intended kind of attempted stabbing, I guess you could say. So I'm not going to drop any real names here because this is a pretty big deal and kind of personal, but basically there were two kids at my school who had some beef with each other. None of them, well, one of them was kind of a bad kid. The other one was a pretty good kid, and he's an upstanding dude. He's normal. He's on the football team, all that good stuff. The other kid was also on the football team. However, he wasn't necessarily the most upstanding citizen, I guess you could say. He was kind of I don't really know how to put it. I guess he was just kind of a bad kid, and I've known both of these dudes for a while, one of them, the one who was getting stabbed, or at least, about to get stabbed before this was stopped. I've known him since like kindergarten, first grade, and the kid that brought the knife, I've known him since the beginning of middle school, 6th grade, and this kid wasn't necessarily the best kid in the world, like I said. He did a lot of drugs, he smoked a lot of weed, and probably more stuff like that. He, his family life was fucked up, so you could kind of tell he was a bad kid, but you never really expected him to go to this extent, because you always hear about those kids on the news who are like bringing weapons to school, and you're like, oh, that's never going to happen to me. Well, you never know what happened to me. So basically what happened is these two got in a fight, and I'm not too sure what the fight was about. I'm not positive. I believe it was something involving football or just something of that sort, where the two came to strongly dislike each other, but they never really acted on it, because the one who was the good kid, who we're just going to call him Jamal, no, actually, no, that's not, no, let me think of a better name here. We're gonna call him Chuck. Chuck, the good kid. He was a good guy. He was a nice guy, and he was an upstanding dude. He would like talk back to the other guy, who we're gonna actually call Jamal. I feel that's a more fitting name. So we're, Jamal's talking shit to Chuck. Chuck's talking shit to Jamal, and it's just this back and forth. And Jamal would make these empty threats, which of course he would never follow through with until this day. He actually did follow through on this day, which is quite an eventful day to say the least. He got arrested in the end, and it all ended fine. No one was hurt. But anyways, so finally, there was one day where this was the day before it happened, and I remember I walked by Jamal in the hallway, and I remember hearing him talking to a group of people, and he was talking about a knife. He was talking about bringing a knife. So I decided, all right, I'm going to kind of eavesdrop on this. And there was he was leaning up against the edge of one of the locker banks. So I went on the other side of it, and my locker wasn't there, but I kind of pretended that my locker was there, and it was just jammed, and I couldn't open it or something. So I kept trying to yank the locker open, even though I knew this wasn't my locker, and I had no fucking clue what the combo was. But, I played along with it just because this was this is a big deal right here. Someone's about to get shanked. We out here in Chirac. This is some ghetto ass shit. Nobody's safe. This is some fucking Fredo Santana, Chief Keef shit. So I'm listening in on it, and they're talking about oh yeah, you should just fucking shank the kid. Excuse me, my God, I can't speak today. And I was like, oh shit, is this there's no way this is gonna happen. I didn't really take it too seriously. I was just kind of laughing it off because middle schoolers being goofy, talking about shanking each other, fucking stupid as shit. Whatever. I'm not gonna pay pay attention to it. So I go home that night, everything's fine. I was actually texting Jamal that night a little bit here and there, and he was talking about it, and he was like, oh yeah, I don't really like him, he's a douchebag, I'm gonna have to take care of him, if you know what I mean. And I'm like, all right, well, you do your thing. I didn't really try to stop him because I didn't take him very seriously because, like I said, you're not going to anticipate a middle schooler bringing a fucking knife to school. So I'm like, all right, you do your thing. You do whatever you got to do, blah, blah, blah. I don't give a shit. So the next day comes around and everything's normal. Chuck and Jamal see each other in the hall. They kind of, give each other the dirty little looks, and the day goes about as if it were a normal day. And I didn't really expect this because nobody really saw it coming until it was kind of too late, I guess you could say. It came to our lunch period, and prior to that, the day had been completely normal. It had been a completely fine day. Everything had been fine. We walk into the lunch period, the little lunch tables are lined up, set up, and everything. The lunch line's open. Kids are going up to buy their lunch and shit. And I sit down at my table. I didn't sit with either of these kids, Chuck or Jamal. They both sat at separate tables. Jamal sat at the table that was kind of, notorious for having all the troublemakers sitting at it, whereas Chuck sat at the table with all of the popular kids and the football players and stuff like that. And I played football as well. I was on the team. However, I sat with my own little group of friends, which were, we were fairly close to both of these tables because Chuck and Jamal's tables were close to each other, and then there was just kind of the table that I was at, which was kind of sandwiched in between, I guess you could say. So we got the full view of the action. We did not miss a single second of this. So we're sitting down, and I remember this so well because it was just such like an explosive scene, I remember Jamal got up and he went up and got his lunch and he sat back down. He's eating pizza, giving Chuck the dirty eye, and Chuck's sitting there eating his fucking lunch, giving, Jamal the dirty eye. And then I remember when Jamal finishes pizza, he gets up and throws it away, and he doesn't go directly back to his seat. He kind of walks around a little bit, looking at teachers, seeing if people are looking or not, because, we figured he was going to do something bad. We didn't know what the hell he was going to do though, but if he's looking out for teachers, then obviously it can't be good. He walks over to Chuck's table, and I'm like, all right, well, maybe he's gonna like push him or some shit. Maybe he's just gonna get all up in his face. And as he's walking there, you see this like shiny metal object kind of slide out of his pocket of his jacket, and we're like, oh shit, that is a knife. Now, luckily, he didn't make it all the way to the table, but Chuck noticed that, Jamal's now has a knife in his hand, and he's walking towards this table. He sees it, and he's like, oh shit, this is bad. Or I at least assume that's what was going through his head, because if some kid's walking at you with a knife, what the fuck else are you thinking, So the security guard, we only had one security guard for the entire school. Very luckily, he was in the lunchroom at this time, and the security guard comes over, and he sees that he has a knife. So this guy isn't playing around, and I really do truly wish that he tased Jamal, because they're like tased him or pepper sprayed him or some shit, because that would have made it so much more fun. But what he did is he kind of like lifted up his like belt a little bit to show like that he had like the taser and like the gun strapped to his belt, and he was like, hey Jamal, come with me, and of course Jamal's gonna fucking stab a cop. He's not that dumb. That is literally like, you are asking to be fucked up if you do that. So he slides the knife back in his pocket, and he's walking real slow because he's trying to stall, trying to like get himself out of trouble or somehow make up some bullshit excuse for this. And I remember some of the things he said, not like word for word, but I remember he was like, oh, I didn't mean to do anything, I was just carrying that because I was going to use it to, go give it back to him or some bullshit like that. He's making up constant bullshit, and the security guard got tired of his shit, I guess, and he just cuffed him. He just straight up fucking cuffed him. And I remember he had his hands behind his back, and the security guard had his hands around like the back of Jamal's neck, kind of like escorting him out of the lunchroom. It was as if it was like a real arrest, which I guess technically it kind of was, because he wasn't back at school for the next like few weeks. So I don't know if he was suspended, arrested, or what. Beyond the school campus, I have no fucking clue what happened to the kid. But he gets escorted out of the lunchroom, and we're like, oh shit, because now this is like the hottest gossip, right? Like this is, oh fuck, this kid almost got stabbed the fuck up. Holy shit, call 911, call Keemstar Drama Alert, get his ass up in here, Drama Alert Nation reporting in, fucking Chuck almost got stabbed at the lunch table, So we finally get out of lunch, and the bell rang, and we're like, all right, well, we're just going to go to class, because he's probably long gone by now. I see Jamal sitting in the waiting area of the office, and he didn't have his knife anymore, I didn't think, because there was kind of like a little outline of it that you could see before he pulled it out, and the outline was no longer present. So they obviously confiscated whatever the hell he had on him, and he's sitting there, and me and him were kind of tight because we'd like talked to each other before, we'd been friends. So he calls me over, and he's like, hey Nick, and I'm like, yo, what's up? And then he was like, well, did you see what I did today? And I was like, yeah, I fucking saw that. Why did you do that? You're stupid as hell. And he was like, I don't know, I just wanted to fucking get the kid back. And I was like, you're stupid as hell for doing that, dude. You really are. And he was like, yeah, I know. And I was like, well, did they give you a punishment? And he was like, yeah. And I was like, what was it? And he goes like, oh, I just dropped my phone. I'm sorry if you guys heard that. But anyways, and he goes, oh, well, I might have to, go to court over this. I might have to get involved with some legal bullshit. And I'm suspended for like 15 days. And I was like, holy shit, that's pretty serious shit right there, So I walk back to class. I go and I tell all my friends like, hey, Jamal got fucking locked up. They're all like, ooh, Chirac, bang, bang, And they're flipping out naturally because this is the first time anything like this has ever happened in a town like mine, because there's not really much crime in my town. We're, kind of the, I guess you could say, uptight, rich, white town, and that I'm in the little pocket of kids that isn't super rich in my town. So I hope you guys enjoyed this commentary. This is just a quick story about, how a kid almost got stabbed at my school. I don't wish that the kid got stabbed. That's a terrible thing to wish upon someone, but I wish that the kid who tried to do the stabbing, which once again I'll just refer to him as Jamal, got like pepper sprayed or some shit. That would have been cool. But drop a like and a comment if you enjoyed. And once again, let's go in for 250 or 200 likes. Excuse me. Go for 200 likes on this video. Oh my god, I can't speak today. Anyways, go for 200 likes on this video. Don't forget to check out our apparel shop, which just opened up a few days ago. Click the link. Pull it up. We got some shirts on there with our logos on it. Nice and cute little shirts you can buy for your girlfriend or something. So then when people look at her tits, they'll be like, hey, Vault Clan, that's fucking cool as hell. Maybe you can find more titties there, and then they'll come here and subscribe. Also, don't forget to check out Exili and myself in the description below for both of us, dropping this pretty interesting video, in my opinion, for you guys. Hope you guys enjoyed once again, and I will see you guys next time. Peace.